Welcome to Daytona International Speedway for the second of our doubleheader. This is the Dominos TYJ Top Shelf. This is the top drivers in the Dominos TYJ League, so expect to see a great race out here. What a finish earlier, and I expect to see another great finish out here. And I am just getting word that we have Tony Hinnett on the line, and we have a important news break. We'll get right to that. So, Tony, why don't you go ahead?
Thanks, Stephen. How are you doing tonight, Michelle?
I'm doing well.
What can you tell us about Robert McFarland's condition?
In my expert medical opinion, Robert McFarland should cease all on-track activities due to concussion-like symptoms from a crash at Michigan earlier this year.
Thanks for your time, Michelle.
It is my pleasure.
Back to you, Stephen.
All right, well, I am now joined in the booth by the driver, Robert McFarland. How you feeling tonight?
Steve, thanks a lot. I'm feeling great. I'm disappointed I'm not in the car for the rest of the season, but you heard the doctor. I got to follow doctor's orders tonight. I'm happy to be in the booth with you, Stephen.
Well, once we missed it before that, we were kind of, getting ready to talk about the race, and we broke into that important news break, or the breaking news. So this race is brought to you by Jaws Graphics. Make sure to get all your graphics need done by Jaws Graphics. Great guys, great products by them. And what are we looking for here tonight, Robert?
Stephen, we just came out of an awesome thin crust race here at Daytona. We expect a lot of action tonight. These drivers are going to be racing 2 wide, 3 wide at times. Of course, they're going to want to try to qualify up front, stay out of trouble, not have any damage on their car. Of course, some of these drivers might stay in the back to try to avoid having damage and wait till 10 to go to make their move to the front. It's going to be really exciting. Pit strategy, Steven, is going to come in a big way here. And yes, we're very thankful to Jaws Graphics for coming on board as a sponsor. Custom paints, famous replicas, Jaws Graphics.
Yeah, we did see just how important pit strategy was, as we saw a couple drivers in the truck race get caught up on pit road, ended up, falling back, and we saw a lot of big wrecks. You expect to see that here.
It is not out of the question at Daytona. You put this many cars this close together at close to 200 miles an hour. One driver makes one small mistake on track, and there's the big one.
All right, well, it does look like Raymond Rittenauer is your pole sitter right now. But once again, there are a lot of great drivers out here. And are we looking for any of these drivers to have their first win?
Raymond has not had his first win. He could be a first-time winner here tonight. Mike Franklin could be a first-time winner. Justin Krasinski is a talented plate track driver in the 05 machine. He could be a first-time winner. Paul Madison in the 15 is a great plate track driver. He could get his first win. It could be any of these gentlemen. Philip Myers in the 17 machine. He knows how to race up front in a pack, and you can never count out the 98 of David Washington. He's already won. Tanner Talarico has won championships earlier this year in other leagues, and would not surprise me at all to see the 42 machine in Victor Lane when it's all over.
Well, Robert, why don't we take a look at our starting grid for the night?
Yes, Stephen, we've got the 87 of Raymond right now. We're with a 47.226 on pole. We also have Calvin Allison on the outside in the 28 machine. Then we have the 88 of Kyle Kammer starting in third on his outside, the 76 of Cleverson Pieria. The 20 of Colin Bowden is starting in fifth, beside the 82 of Mike Franklin starting in sixth. We also have, like I mentioned, Justin Krasinski starting seventh, Luis Salmaso starting eighth. We have the 25 machine of Jordan Beck starting ninth. Also, Paul Madison in the 15 machine starting 10th. Seth Foudy in the Pennzoil machine, the 22, will be starting 11th. Jeffrey Johnson Jr. will be starting 12th in the 53. Philip Meyer, just mentioned him in the 17, will be starting 13th. We've got Tom Wetmore in the 6th. He's near the top in points. He'll be starting 14th. Buzz Moore in the 11. Bud Machine will be starting 15th. Then we have David Washington, Tanner Talarico, Ryan Hill, Jason Cardwell, Michael Atkins Jr., George Hendricks starting 22nd, Ryan Matthews 23rd, Brian Coots 24th, and the 7 machine of James Ross in 25th position.
All right, and we didn't get a chance to look at those points, so why don't we take a look at those really quick here now. We'll take a look at those points. David Washington is your points leader right now with 316. I tell you what, he's got a pretty sizable lead over Kyle Kamer, who has 266 in second. Raymond Reitnauer in third with 233. Colin Bowden in fourth with 221. And then you go to Michael Atkins Jr. in fifth with 218. James Ross, who had a pretty great run last week, in sixth with 215. George Hendricks in seventh with 214. Tom Wetmore in eighth with 207. Jeffrey Johnson Jr. in ninth with 200 points. And rounding out your top 10 in points is the number 15 of Paul Madison with 199 points.
Yeah, Stephen, I was able to get on the radio, the 87 of Raymond right now. I'm going to bring him in real quick, ask him a couple quick questions.
All right.
Raymond, this is Robert in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
2 questions for you tonight, Raymond. First of all, how'd you put your car on the pole? How's the track feel? Actually, 3 questions. And what do you think your chances are of getting your first win in the Dominos TYJ Racing Dash4Cash Top Shelf Series?
The track feels good. It's nice and cool out here under the lights at Daytona. If I can stay up here out front and not lose the draft, I think we'll be good tonight.
That sounds great. Raymond, we wish you all the luck. Stay out of trouble and don't make mistakes on pit road, and you definitely could be in victory lane. Have a good night, Raymond.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was our pole sitter, Raymond Reitnauer, and we're getting ready to go racing. They are coming around turn number 4, getting those cars ready to go. And I tell you what, if it's anything like the last race, this is going to be a pretty good race up front. Pace car has dipped in, and they're holding them to the green. Green flag is out, and they're off quick.
Yes, up front, it definitely looks like they're side by side going into turn 1, about 6-8 rows back, Stephen.
Yeah, these guys, these cars have a lot more power than those trucks. They're going to be able to fight on that outside longer than those trucks were. And I tell you what, it's going to make for great high-impact racing. It's also going to make for great wrecks if those guys do not, wait until they're clear to make their shots.
Yes, hopefully these gentlemen will race clean and understand we've got 80 laps here at Daytona. It is a long race, and it does look like the 20 of Colin Bowden has taken the lead. Or is that the Calvin Allison machine in the 28?
That is the 28 of Calvin Allison.
Yes, he's got a great new sponsor on his car tonight. I was not able to locate that. Pardon me for that.
Yeah, we're going to make sure we got the right schemes on here for these guys here tonight. I think we're missing a couple. So we'll make sure to get those refreshed really quick here, because I think we are missing Calvin Allison's new scheme out there.
Yes, sir. Right now, it looks like Calvin Allison is leading this race with the 87 of Raymond Reitnauer right behind him. We've got the 88 of Kyle Kamer in third right behind him. And then on the outside, looks like we've got a run here. Cleverson Pierre in the 76 has got the 82 of Mike Franklin. They're on the high line trying to make a move to get around the 87 and the 28.
And we're starting to see that top line die off now.
Yeah, a couple more cars have jumped up to the 20 of Colin Bowden. The 14 of Luis Tomaso is in the top lane. The 11 in the Bud Machine of Buzz Moore is up there. If they can get hooked together, bumper to bumper, I believe they can make their way to the front. But for now, the 28 machine of Calvin Allison is keeping his car glued to that double yellow line so nobody can pass him.
The 76 of, who is the 76? That is Cleverson Pierre is starting to make a run. And we had one down on the apron. I'm not sure who that was.
That was the 88 of Kyle Cameron. Looks like he got loose. Luckily, he was able to save that machine and keep it out of the wall and keep from a big wreck happening there. And the 28 of Calvin Allison still has a lead with Cleverson Pierre right on his door.
So we are seeing this top line able to compete with the bottom line through a pretty good sized run. 5 laps in the books, and we are still seeing that top line compete. Great job by those guys to get together, work together, and try to get a lead. Now, if you are the 78 of Cleverson Pierre, do you decide to jump down as soon as you can, or do you hold it until you can get some more guys around you?
Yes, Stephen, that's the 76 of Cleverson Pierre. I think he's probably going to wait until the 82, Mike Franklin, who's his buddy right now in the draft, is also clear, and they will both move down. But you never know, Stephen. Once you get that lead, you want to keep that lead.
Yeah, Cleverson leads his first lap of the night. So our first lead change, or excuse me, that was our second lead change as we did our pole sitter. Didn't have any laps led.
Yeah, I'm noticing a little bit further back in the pack, Stephen, we have our points leader, David Washington, in the 98 machine. He's running back here in 15th. He's got a couple of car lengths in front of him to the number 6 of Tom Wetmore, who is second or third in the points. These guys look like right now at the beginning of this race, they're going to just bide their time and try to stay out of trouble if there is a big one in the front of the pack.
Yeah, really, from David on back, they are single file. And then there's a pretty decent sized gap back to 20th. Brian Cutts. And then George Hendricks is even farther back, but he's got a couple guys working with him.
Yes, Stephen, that George Hendricks 34 machine's got the 42 of Tanner Calricchio. And behind him, he's got the 88 of Kyle Cameron, who got loose earlier. And he's got the 55 of Ryan Hill, who won our race at Watkins Glen a few weeks back on his bumper. They're going to be making their way to the front. Obviously, they don't want to lose the draft. They don't want to go a lap down. And it looks like they're buying their time for the right moment to make their way all the way to the front.
Yeah, we saw kind of that late race charge by the 55 last week, and we actually saw it at Watkins Glen also, so he is definitely, never out of the hunt for the win.
Yes, sir, he's a very smart and talented driver. He does already have a win in our series, and like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't make his way up to the front before this race is over, as well as the 18, the STP machine of Michael Atkins Jr., He is running back here in 10th position, just kind of taking his time on the high side. The other thing, Stephen, we're going to have to be concerned about on these cars in this pack is overheating. We know that if you're, for instance, Raymond right now in the 87 machine right behind Calvin Allison, you're close to him, you run the risk of getting the engine hot. You don't get enough air through the radiator to cool that engine. Like right now, he's peeking out to get a little bit more air into the radiator. A lot of these guys will have to do that during the course of this race because the last thing you want, Stephen, is to have an engine go from overheating.
Yeah, and that's the danger you run into with running with this big of a pack for so long. But I've got to tell you, 10 laps, or coming to 10 laps now, and we are seeing really the whole pack work together. We've got 4 on the outside trying to stay up there. They are starting to lose a little bit of steam on that high side, though.
Judd, as our pit reporter, you have a lot of detailed information and knowledge and experience on keeping these cars from overheating. Explain to us the best way to keep your car from overheating in this pack.
Well, the best thing you can do is to make sure that you poke that right side out and if you can give yourself an opportunity to back up just a little bit, obviously in the corners you want to stay tucked in there and get around those corners. But when you come out them straightaways, you want to be able to get that right side of the car out there. It'll get into your radiator and work your. There's those hoses and stuff that are in there that really need that opportunity to breathe a little bit. So yeah, for sure. Make sure they poke out to the right a little bit, and you'll be able to stay under that 240 mark. And a lot of times you get up there around 260, 280, and they start really falling back on horsepower. So these guys are watching that, that's for sure.
Yes, sir. And just as you're saying that, the 87 right now are moved to the high side probably to get his engine cooled down, and the 17 of Philip Meyer jumped right in front of him.
Yeah, I've been watching Philip. He's definitely probably looking at his tacks and making sure that he keeps that coolant down there. But I'm sure he's going to be happy to get out there and get some fresh air now.
Yes, sir. Judd Phillip is running in the 4th position. Looks like he's actually making a run on the leader on the outside, coming across the start-finish line. If he can get a push from the 87 of Raymond Reitnauer, Philip Meyer might can lead his first lap in this race tonight. Stephen, what are you seeing further back in the field?
We're seeing some movement, but I mean, really a lot of guys trying to stay connected onto that main pack. You go all the way back to Brian Cutts, who is in 20th. He has got Tanner
Tallaricchio.
Yes, and George Hendricks hooked on to the back of him. So that smaller pack, but that smaller pack idea, it works to an extent. If we get a long run, if we stay green, it's not going to happen as well.
Yes, Stephen, I've seen it time and time again. You lose that lead pack. This race right now, to me, Stephen and Judd, looks like it's got a green flag look to it. Don't know how many more laps they're going to run under green. Of course, they will have to come down under green flag conditions to get either 4 new Goodyear tires and or 2 cans of Sunoco fuel. But once you lose that lead pack, if this race does go green, when those first pit stops do occur under green, if you're not a lap down, you're very easily going to go a lap down.
And we'll see if we have a lead change, and they're going to go. It looked like they might have gone 3 wide. They are going to go. Oh, it looked like they backed out of it. That's going to drop Philip Meyer down, or back in the pack. He is now back to 4th, and now sitting in the top, or sitting just barely in the top 5. He is now fallen out of the top 5.
Yes, Stephen, when that happens, you lose your momentum like we saw in the truck race earlier, and you lose 3 or 4 or 5 spots before you even know what's happened to you.
And just like that, that top line has gone down to 1.
So it looks like we've got the 28 of Calvin Allison leading yet another lap. The 05 of Justin Krasinski is running 2nd. 82 of Mike Franklin has moved himself up into 3rd position. The 11 Bud Machine of Buzz Moore is in 4th. The 15 of Paul Madison has moved up smartly into that next position. And behind him, we've got the 25 of Jordan Beck. Haven't mentioned his name yet. He's up to 6th.
Yeah, and we're looking at the top 5. As you were mentioning them, we have Buzz Moore, who started 15th, is already up in the 4th spot. And Paul Madison, who started 10th tonight, has moved his way up into 5th. And there's only one driver in this top 5 who started in the top 5. That is Calvin Allison, who started 2nd.
Yes, his goal obviously is to run up front for the whole race. And it looks like the 20 of Colin Bowden is making a move now on the outside of the 87 of Raymond Reitnauer. Yeah, Raymond was running 2nd just a few minutes ago, and he's fallen all the way back. It looks like he's running in the 8th now. Not a bad position. And it looks like Tom Wetmore in the 6th machine. And like I just mentioned, George, David Washington in the 98 machine is up to 11th. Those guys are staying close enough. They're in this main pack. They're not going to lose a lap. And if this race does go green here for the first cycle of pit stops, it's all going to come down to who does not make mistakes on pit road.
And just as we saw that top line disappear, they are coming back with a vengeance. And it looks like the 11 of Buzz Moore will lead that outside pack.
He's got 20 of Colin Bowden right behind him. Those are drafting partners. They are teammates, I think. And the 18 STP machine of Michael Atkins Jr. is on the high side also. He's going to be coming up to the bumper of the 20 Colin Bowden. See if those 3 cars on the outside can make a move to the front.
Now, we saw the move earlier on the back stretch. It doesn't look like Calvin Allison's going to do it here. Does he do it on the front stretch, though? We saw him play a little bit of line game, went to that high side to block the run of the high side. We'll see if he does it again on the front stretch. He did it earlier when those guys were making the run. But no, we are going to see Justin Krasinski move to the high line and try to get a run.
An interesting development near the back of the pack. Stephen and Judd, we have got Ryan Hill in the 55 machine. He is almost 13 seconds back. He is almost 14 seconds back. He has picked up the 88 machine of Kyle Cameron. I don't know if he dropped back to pick him up when Kyle had that condition where he got loose and almost wrecked his machine. But these two drivers are the last two vehicles on the lead lap. We've already got, looks like Jeffrey Johnson Jr. one lap down in the 53 machine. So Ryan Hill and Kyle Cameron are going to have to take some pit strategy or something to get themselves back in this race if we continue to go green, Judd and Steven.
Well, you'll notice that the outside line there, they just needed to regroup in that last cycle right there. Those guys got so spread apart, there was no way Phillip in 17 was going to get himself up front. So I think he just wanted to drop back and kind of regroup. The guys weren't going to let him drop in, so he just kind of let his car cool off a little bit, and you're coming back at it with the boys up front.
Yes, sir, Judd. That is smart racing on the 17 part. That's exactly how you keep your vehicle with no damage. You wait for another lap, another opportunity to make your way to the front. You still have all four fenders on it. You're still running the 201 miles an hour they're doing right now. 202 it looks like on the backstretch. And you'll make your way to the front before you know it. If he would have chosen to force that issue earlier, Stephen and Judd, he could have not only ruined his night, but several other vehicles. So that was a very smart move on Phillip Meyer's part.
Yeah, I got to say, it is very impressive to see this 20 laps. We are now on lap 20, and we still have yet to have a caution, yet to have a big one. These guys are driving smart out here, knowing that any damage is going to take them out of this race.
This is why you call it the top shelf. Dominos, TYJ, top shelf.
Yes, sir, Judd. In your opinion, you've raced these cars with this 75% fuel load here at Daytona. What is your best guess for a fuel run?
Well, a lot of times it's just I believe these cars are set at 75%, so, they're going to get right around somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 laps, 38, 35, just depends.
So you want to try to hit that? You want to try to hit that 40 lap mark, because then you can split it down the middle and you're good to go for the rest of the race.
Yeah, a lot of times you're not going to need those tires so much. I mean, they're going to take them if there's a caution for sure. But a lot of these guys, I'm sure, they'll run these tires the whole race, just grab some fuel and go to the end.
That's exactly what we were talking about in the truck race earlier, Judd, that you were in. Is strategy is going to have a key factor in who's going to win this race. If it continues to go green and we have one, if not two sets of green flag pit stops, the guys who don't take tires, just take fuel, will get out of the pits much quicker. And again, I mentioned, you got to have a drafting partner when you come down pit road in these plate races at Daytona and Talladega. You cannot come down by yourself. You cannot afford to run out of fuel. You've got to make your pit stop clean, get all four tires on with the lug nuts, get both cans of Sunoco fuel in the car. You've got to get back up to speed with a drafting partner, if not two or three, to maintain your position, or you can almost write yourself off.
Yeah, not to mention, you also got 200 temperature tires, they're coming into the pits and they got to get down to 60 miles an hour, and they got to get it stopped when they hit their pits. And it's not always that easy when they're that hot. And then they got to try to get off without smoking them up and tearing them apart. So they got to be careful when they're down in there. It's not all that simple.
One down on the apron.
Ooh.
And 17 hits the... Did he get a black flag for maybe unsafe pit entrance? He clipped that cone. He clipped the exit cone, but I think they're going to keep the black flag off of him. Nice job saving it by the 17.
Yeah, if you can bring up a replay of that, that was an unbelievable save by the 17 of Phillip Meyer.
Yeah, let's check back and see that replay, because I got to tell you, that is great driving by him. He got down on the apron in the tri-oval. Looked like the 11 maybe bumped him, and he started to lose it. Hit that cone, made it go flying, and saved that car, brought it back up onto the track safely.
Yes, he lost quite a few positions there, but like earlier in the race I mentioned, Philip Meyer, he saved that car. He did not cause the caution. He is still in this race. He might have lost a few positions, but I know Philip, and he's going to make his way back to the front before this thing's over.
But so far, Calvin Allison has dominated this race. He's had a couple guys lead laps. Actually, it was only one other person to lead laps. That was, trying to look through here, it was Cleverson Pierre, who was the only other person to lead laps. And other than that, Calvin Allison has led them all.
Yes, it looks like the 53 machine of Jeffrey Johnson Jr. is on pit road. He has currently scored 7 laps down. From what I've heard, he's having overheating issues. They're trying to get the tape off of the front of that car, and looks like they're having to put some more water in that radiator. He's lost some water, it being in the pack, and hopefully he can get back out there. But back up front, it does look like Calvin Allison is leading. How many laps is this now, Stephen?
This is 23 laps led for Calvin Allison.
Yeah, it looks like the 20 of Colin Bowden and the 14. We haven't mentioned his name much tonight. Luis Amaso is on the high line. If he can get connected with the 20 and the 6 of Tom Wetmore can catch up to him, I believe they can make a run on the outside and get around the 28 of Calvin Allison. It's not going to be easy, but I think they can do it.
Yeah, you definitely need more than 2 cars up there to make that run. But it doesn't look like anybody's really maybe Buzz Moore now looking to that high side. He does go to the high side. Can he catch the draft, though?
It looks like he's closing the gap ever so slowly. But these other gentlemen are staying in line on the bottom lane. We got the 82 of Michael Franklin, the 15 of Paul Madison.
Oh,
they
one up
almost
the
touched
line.
there.
3 wide.
Yeah, Colin Bowden looks like he got loose. He might have had a little contact.
Yeah, that's going to be...
Colin Bowden falls back to... Looks like he fell back about 6 positions there, Stephen.
Yeah,
Did you see what happened, Judd? Sorry, Stephen.
No, I was going to say, I don't know if that was the best break for the 14. He does get in front of that outside line, but it slows him up, and he's going to drop back a little bit. He's trying to gain some speed now. But yeah, Judd, did you see what happened there?
Yeah, it looks like he just got touched by the 28. They were side by side doing a little side drafting, which we all know is very, very dangerous at this track. The best drivers can pull it off. It looks like Luis Amaso is back up there with Colin Bowden, the 20 machine. Looks like they are making a run, giving a run to the 28 of Calvin Allison for the lead here.
Yeah, so it seems like the magic number for that high side is 3. You get 3 cars up there, and you can put up a fight.
All right, they're getting ready to pit, guys.
Yeah, I'm hearing on the team communications, we're going to have the 42 of Tanner Talarikia, the 04 of Brian Cutts a little further back in the pack. Looks like they're coming in. The 17 of Philip Meyer might be pitting this lap. Judd, if you can cover these pit stops, can you let us know if they're getting 4 tires, 2 tires? We know they're all going to get fuel because they're almost out.
And I don't know if you guys saw this, but the 20, wow, what a move by Colin Bowden. He saw a gap, and he shot it. There was almost no room there, and he forces the 18 to that high line.
Yes, I'm getting more confirmation. Looks like most of the leaders are coming in this time.
So here they all come down pit road.
Yeah, Jed, give us the call on the leader here on pit road. Let us know what he gets. Looks like the 55, Ryan Hill, is coming off of pit road. '15, 18, and the 05 of Justin Krasinski are pitting this time by.
Yeah, it looks like you got out.
The other leaders are coming down right now. Looks like the whole lead pack is coming on the pit road. Led by the 15 of Paul Madison. Followed by Justin Krasinski.
Oh, Calvin's having trouble. All right, he caught that one. He's good to go.
David Washington in the 98 is running at third. Came down pit road this time. Steven, what do you see on pit road?
Well, we saw Calvin Allison not take tires, and these guys, looks like we may have had one hit the inside wall, but he is off and away. No tires for, not sure who that was, but it looked like most of the drivers were taking four.
I'm not sure about this, but I just watched David Washington, the 98, running in third position. It looks like he only took right side tires and a can and a half of Sunoco fuel. So that'll turn the lead over. Let the scoring and cycling recycle.
David Washington is in the lead right now. Tom Wetmore in second. Raymond Rittenauer in third. James Ross in fourth. Calvin Allison moving his way back up the field. He has now scored his fourth as he passes James Ross.
Yeah, just like I said, Calvin didn't take any tires. He got his fuel, but he started to leave pit lane there, and he was having some trouble with those hot tires. But he got himself out there. He'll be all right.
Yeah, if you don't have a clear track to come up to, that apron can be dangerous coming off pit road.
Yes, it looks like Tom Wetmore in the 6 machine and David Washington in the 98 have hooked up together coming off of pit road. But it looks like they also got Raymond Rittenauer in the 87 and Calvin Allison coming up to him on the back stretch here. It'll be interesting to see if they can get around him going into turn 3 and 4, or if they'll just fall in line and try to put some distance on James Ross in the number 7, who's running 5th, with the number 3 of Jason Cardwell running 7th. Behind him, we got the 05 of Justin Krasinski, the 25 of Jordan Beck, and a little bit further back, the 20 of Colin Bowden. We've got a big pack of cars here, the 15 of Paul Madison, 76 of Cleverson Pieria in 12th. We've also got Michael Atkins Jr. in the 18 car 13th. Seth Foudy in the Pennzoil number 22 back in 14th. And these guys are side by side.
And if this pack catches up and gets a run, these guys are going to push towards those leaders. And we could have a 15 to 20 car battle. We will have, about 20 cars battling for the lead.
Yes, Stephen and Judd, it does look like the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer and the 28 machine of Calvin Allison decided to fall in line behind the 98 of Dave Washington and the 6 of Tom Wetmore. Those guys are going to put some distance on the other cars behind him, James Ross. Although we got a pack of 4 there, James Ross in the 7, Jason Cardwell in the 3, Justin Krasinski in the 5, and Jordan Beck in the 25. They're running bumper to bumper. Maybe they can run him down.
I think that pack is going to need the help of the 8 or 9 cars behind them. If they all hook up, that can be a pack to watch out for, because really I don't think they're gaining much time on that front four being the same amount of cars.
Judd, give us an update on the 17 machine of Philip Meyer. Looks like he's 4 seconds back in 18th, and it looks like he's not in the draft.
Yeah, he's out there by himself right now, Robert. He's gonna need some help here to catch up to these guys. I didn't get to catch what he did on pit road. I apologize for that. I was watching Calvin during that, but Philip's going to be struggling here.
Yeah, no problem. He does have George Hendricks in the 34 machine with Tanner Talarico in the 42. They'll probably catch him, pick him up in the draft, and maybe they can all 3 get back up to the lead. While things have quieted down here, Stephen, maybe we should go to commercial break and get ready for the next set of pit stops.
Yep, we're getting close to that halfway point. Let's take a step away, and we'll be back right.
Here's what it looks like, being the best. What it looks like to be a cut up of the West. What it looks like, being the best.
Thanks for watching Domino's TYJ Racing live tonight on MaxSpeed TV 3. Season 1 has been a great success, with Curtis Young winning the Dented Fenders Truck Championship and Justin Faulkner taking home the trophy for the Gen 6 Cup Car Championship. For 2017, we are expanding to include our new Top Shelf League. If you are a clean, competitive racer looking for a league with respectful, dedicated drivers who strictly follow simple rules, then apply today to qualify for one of our tryout races starting Thursday evenings in the next few weeks. The open seats in our 3 leagues will be filled soon, so do not delay and apply today at DominostyJRacing.com, and we will see you on the track.
Here's what it looks like, being the best. What it looks like to be a cut up of the rest. What it looks like, being the best. What it looks.
And we're back, and I tell you what, this pack's starting to shape up. We're going to get 2 of the packs merging, and we'll have 7 up front, but then you have, what is that, another 7 or 8, maybe even 9 behind them?
Yes, Stephen, what looks like the 7 of James Ross, and the group behind him has caught that lead pack with Calvin Allison and the 28 machine running 4th. Although Calvin's making a move on the outside, he's wanting to get around the 87 of Raymond right now and get back in the lead. He led the first, 25 laps, and now he finds himself back here in 4th position. He is hungry to get back to the lead.
Yeah, we were talking about it before coming back from break. Calvin Allison tried that outside line and then thought about it and went back in, and he just did it once again. So is he dipping out, trying to get some air, maybe thinking, let me see it, test the water, see if anybody else comes out with me?
Yeah, I think you're right on the second half there. I think he just wants to make sure that he's got that track position, and he's showing the boys behind him that, hey, come with me. I'm ready to go.
So far, he has no takers to follow up with him. However, the 7 Texaco machine of James Ross might be one to take him because he is closed right up to the back bumper of the 28 of Calvin Allison. We'll see what happens here.
We do have 1 that went to the outside. That is 3, and it looks like somebody's going to join him. So
yeah, the 11 of Buzz Moore and the Bud machines on the outside. If he can catch up with him, he's got the 51 of Ryan Matthews. We haven't talked about him much tonight. He was in the back earlier. Looks like they're going to make a move on the outside.
Calvin's making the commitment now.
And he's gained a position. He's up to 3rd, looks like. Like I said, the 3, the 11, and the 51 are making that high lane move, and another car might jump up.
And we just hit lap 40.
Yeah.
And David Washington. Oh, yeah, we do have a new leader. The 6 of Tom Wetmore to your lead.
Yes, Calvin Allison pushed the 6 of Tom Wetmore to the lead. That puts David Washington back in 3rd, it looks like, at this point. And that outside line is still making progress with the 05 of Justin Krasinski. He's moved his way up to 4th, it looks like. The 3 of Jason Cardwell's got the 11 Bud machine of Buzzmore right on his bumper. These guys are definitely putting on the show, even without any cautions.
Yeah, these guys are definitely starting to feel their tires and the wear in them. They've got a good solid half a tank or better fuel, and they're squatted down and they're putting pressure on those rears, but they're getting it done. This is looking really good, guys. Real good job from these boys tonight.
Yes, sir. A few seconds behind that lead pack, we've got the 18 STP machine of Michael Atkins Jr. with the 15 of Paul Madison, who was up there after those that set of green flag pit stops. They've fallen back to 15th and 14th position, respectively. We've got the 22 of Seth Fowdy and the Pennzoil machine running 16th. If those 3 can lock up, he's also got the 04. We talked earlier about him almost losing the lap of Brian Cutts. And he actually is the first car 1 lap down in the 04 machine. And we got one other thing to bring to the attention. The 82 machine of Mike Franklin is currently running in 17th position. He was up in the top 5 before those pit stops, and I've noticed he's got some rear end damage. I don't know if he got run into on pit road or on the or when that happened, but it looks like he is losing the pace, and he is back in 17th, quite a few seconds behind. And these leaders are still keeping it exciting up front.
Yeah, we're starting to see Calvin Allison's run on that outside line start to kind of dissolve. He's got 4 other cars out, or 3 other cars out there working with him. the 05 of Justin Krasinski, who, I don't know if you're seeing it, but he looks like he may be having a little bit of electrical issues with that car every once in a while.
Yeah, he is. I see that every once in a while, Steven.
Yeah, he might have to switch to the other box on that.
And I tell you what, those little electrical issues every once in a while, it can cause just enough of a draft loss where it is going to pull back Calvin Allison.
Although Calvin Allison has got a strong machine under him tonight, it's looking like almost by himself he can make it up a little bit and gain a position or two. Yeah, Calvin is putting that Chevy in the wind. I wonder if he's got horsepower in the Hendrick stable.
Well, it is down to 2 on that top line, as we did see the 3 and the 14 of, that is Luis Salmaso kind of fall back, and then the 11 of Buzz Moore will jump to the outside line, try to make a couple passes.
Yeah, I think these guys up front here, Judd and Steven, are really kind of biding their time. They're jockeying for position, but it doesn't look to me like they're pushing the envelope. They know we got about 35 laps, 35 laps left in this race. And
yeah, that's a long ways to go, Robert.
Yes, it is. They're going to have at least one more pit stop, so they're not pushing the envelope too hard as we speak.
I think one of the things we're going to watch here on this next round of pit stops is, are any of the drivers going to take the 2 rights, the infamous 2 rights, see what they can do with that. I'll be interested to see if these guys do that or not. They could go for they could give up a little bit of fuel, save themselves a few seconds, and get their pit crew out there to get 2 nice fresh right sides. They can hold themselves down, they can get a little bit of speed picked back up, and they don't got to worry about the fuel so much.
Well, we did see pit stops on lap 30. Lap 29, or actually we started lap 28. Saw some on 29, and the rest of them came in on lap 30. So we're looking at roughly, that'd be 55 to 60. Do you want to pit earlier than that and possibly take a shot at beating these guys out of the pits?
That would be a great pit strategy call. Judd, you were in the earlier race on these exact same track conditions. Judd, did you have to take tires in your truck? Do you think these guys can go the whole race without changing tires, or are they going to have to get at least 2 rights?
Oh no, they can go the whole race. They should be able to make it. It's just a matter of not sliding your tires into the pits, and don't be, tearing them up when you're coming out. And obviously we saw this happen on the first pit stop where they don't, you got to be careful when you're leaving. So myself, you asked the question, I did take some tires because I did get that caution brake in the front, and then as we cycled through the latter half, I didn't have as best of luck, so I just tried to keep under me what I had.
I completely understand that. And it looks like currently, as we run through the field, we only have 1 car off the track. That's Jeffrey Johnson in the 53. We only have 1 car 1 lap down. That looks like Brian Cook's in the 04. And this lead pack, like I said, they're just kind of biding their time either for the next round of pit stops. That's when they're going to put their strategy into effect. And you can trust me on this. Some of these guys are going to do the opposite of what the leader does. That's going to be...
It's funny, Steven, Robert, I was just going to say something about that. Maybe this second pack back there, maybe they can communicate together and say, hey, why don't we short pit these guys, and let's see if they can catch us at the end.
That might not be a bad pit strategy. But then you got to think, Judd and Steven, if you're running in a pack of 3 or 4 cars and you pit early, at this pack of 10, 12 cars up front, they all come in together 2, 3 laps later, they're going to have the speed and the momentum, and I'm afraid you won't have a chance to catch them.
Well, let me tell you something right now. You got 10 or 12 cars coming in like that, you ain't getting 10 or 12 cars coming out together. That's never going to happen. It isn't going to happen. No way. So I think those boys back there in that second group, if they get their ducks together, yeah, I think they could have a real shot at this. They got some fast cars back there. They just need to catch this draft. No, you're not going to get that stuff in there. All these boys are going to try to get into the pits like that. Sorry, boys. It's going to happen. Yeah, I noticed it now, Steve. Yeah. Well, I'm sure these guys are starting to watch their tacks and making sure that they're not, getting themselves too wound up. They got to keep the thing cooled off. And if these guys want to make a run on the outside, I think right now would probably be the opportunity to put it up there, because they're going to start watching their fuel and making these pit stops coming around.
And here comes the interesting thing. You got cars that are going to go a lap down coming up. Now, these two guys are battling for position. That is the 55 of Ryan Hill and the 88 of Kyle Kamer.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I think we're going to get. I think these guys will respect the leaders here. They're good drivers.
Even if they respect the leaders, it makes it tough with too wide. You're going to push that lap traffic up to the top of the track. And they're going to stay off the wall and keep
It looks like they're going to stay on the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to slow up the leaders.
Here we go.
So the 88 putting the pressure onto the leaders. And now they are going to make their way by. But it's going to get interesting when we get to the too wide section of that pack, because there are guys stuck on that inside line.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, the 55, he is not interested at all in what just happened.
But are these guys thankful now? Because now they are in the draft. They are not going to be dropping any farther back. And maybe they can pick up a couple positions here and there.
That is a good point. But I know the 55 and the 88 were hoping for a caution or something to maintain that lead lap position. Now they're one lap down. They might have a battle amongst themselves to see who's going to be the first car to get a lucky dog if we have a caution, Steven and Judd. Again, this race looks like it's going green to me. We're really going to make the strategy call even more important as to who's going to win this race.
Yeah, right now I'm thinking if we have a caution, it'll be when these guys all go into pit road. And it looked like the 55 and the 11 almost made contact there.
Yeah, the 11 might be trying a little bit of side drafting. The 3 of Jason Cardwell and the 05 of Justin Krasinski, the same thing. They're trying to get just a little bit of extra air off the 98 of David Washington as he got real close, Justin did, to try to get a run. As how does that side drafting work, Judd? Tell us exactly the benefit if you can pull that off successfully and how you get your car to move ahead of the car you're side drafting.
Well, to my understanding at this point, the way I use it is, if I'm coming off of corners, I'll try to tuck myself right up to the passenger side of that car, that truck, and I'll just try to sit there as long as I can, and you can kind of bounce yourself back and forth, right to left, and it will give you the opportunity, but you're also going to be pulling that vehicle that's next to you, so if you're looking to do any kind of a side draft to put you out front, there's got to be a lot of respect there, because these things move around so much. We got 3 wide in the corner there, guys. It can definitely be real hairy. It's nerve-wracking. I tend, for myself, I'll use it, but very rarely do I want to put that other driver in that position. It's just very nerve-wracking for both of us.
Yes, it is, Judd. And we've seen the greatest drivers in iRacing perform that move successfully. We've also seen the greatest drivers in iRacing make a mistake trying to use that move. And it'll be interesting to see how that works out at the end of this race.
It looks like Justin's really trying hard. 05, Justin Krasinski, he's trying so hard up there on the outside. It's just, that outside line is really tough. You've got to have a good 3, 4, 5 cars in a straight line to get that thing moving. And then you might get that front car moved far enough to drop down, but yeah, that's a tough line to be out there tonight.
Yes, sir. Looks like the 3 of Jason Cardwell just cannot maintain being on his bumper, and they're dropping back now. Looks like the 6 of Tom Wetmore, the 98 of David Washington, and the 87 of Raymond Reitnauer are going to maintain those top 3 positions for now. So your estimation, Steven, we've got about how many more laps before pit stops?
We're going to start seeing them here in the next couple of laps. I think the guys that pushed it 30 laps, they're going to be coming in here around lap 60, maybe 61. So I expect to see everybody else down the pits, maybe 59 or 60.
Yes, sir, Steven. I'm getting radio communication confirmation. Tanner Talricchio in the 42 is pitting this time. We'll see who comes in with him.
Yeah, he was the one of the first cars to go down into the pits. He is actually almost a full lap behind, and it looks like Philip Mayer going down. Didn't look like George Hendricks went down with him. So those two go down in pits, and Tanner was, I think, once again one of the first guys to pit on the first cycle.
We'll see what he does on pit road, and we'll see when these other leaders are able to come down with him. Looks like we do have a pack, about 16 cars within 5 seconds of one another, and we've got about 12 cars within a second of each other. That's going to make it very hairy coming down pit road.
There we go, guys. All right,
Yeah, we got
Ryan,
the 55 of Ryan Hill, the 11 of Buzz Moore, and the Bud Machine coming down pit road.
55 locked him up. Did the 55 get a speeding penalty? Because he was locking him up going into the pits.
Yeah, it looks like Tom Wetmore in the 6th, 98 of David Washington are staying out for now.
Yeah, Ryan's grabbing 4 tires and fuel. He's out of his pit box now. He's moving. Doesn't look like he had any problems getting it slowed down.
Judd, does he have a partner that pitted with him that's coming out with him? And that's going to be their only hope.
Looks to me like he's going to be on his own. I'll take a look from the flip side
bunch
here.
of cars coming down.
All right, the leaders are coming down pit road
3 wide
right
into
now.
the pit entrance.
The 87 almost loses it, but maintains it. I would not be surprised if the 87 of right now gets a speeding penalty. We will find out in a minute.
I tell you what, they had 3 wide, and wow, I'm surprised nobody got any damage there. But they had 2 rows of 3 wide through the whole, or going into the entrance of pit road. That takes a lot of talent from these guys to be calm and relaxed doing that going into the pit road.
And back up front, it looks like Calvin Allison in the 28 machine is taking the lead, although Justin Krasinski has got the low line running. It looks like he's got a car length ahead of him. And these guys are going to be pitting. The 14 is peeling off. The 05 is peeling off. I think I heard the 98 got a little bit of damage on that pit road.
So it looks like our first driver, Ryan Matthews, who has pitted. So if he can get ahead of these guys before they come off the pits. Oh, Tom,
it looks like Justin Krasinski just took left side tires only.
Yeah, they're getting back up to speed, but Tom Wetmore is trying to catch up to him. He did win, I believe, actually the 20 of Colin Bowden won that battle off pit road from that first pack. And we are watching them right now. They are 5 seconds, or no, they are 4 seconds back and gaining pretty quickly. But did Justin Krasinski get out there with another driver?
No.
Oh, they're wrecking. Wow. Jordan Beck was involved in that. So that is the first caution here in the top shelf race with 20 to go. Let's take a look back with the first caution of the night.
Wow, what did you see happening there, Judd? What did you see happen on that caution?
Oh, sorry about that. I was running with Justin there for a minute when I saw the yellow come out. I was just looking for the wreck itself, so I don't have an answer for you on that one.
It was a self spin by the 25 of Jordan Beck. Everybody avoided him. No damage anywhere on the track by that spin.
Well, I know that Ryan Hill is upset because he was that first car down, and now he lost that opportunity. So.
Yeah, that was a great save.
Do we see the rest of the drivers come down pit road maybe? maybe try to top it off and be ready for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that was a great save by the 25. So that's going to cycle who back to the lead?
That'll leave Justin Krasinski in the lead, Paul Madison in second, and Luis Salmaso in third.
Then we got Calvin Allison in the 28 in fourth. The 18 of Michael Atkins Jr. has moved his way up to fifth. The 6 of Tom Wetmore's in actually sixth. Michael Atkins in fifth. Colin Ballin in the 20 is in seventh. Ryan Matthews in the 51 is in eighth. That's a great move for him. And then we've got Jason Cardwell in the 3 and ninth. James Ross in the 7 and 10th. It will be interesting to see what these guys do now. They were just on pit road. You would think they've all got enough fuel.
Well, on that last pit stop when David Washington, I think he was running P2 there, car 6 got into the back of him in the pits, and that's what we've been listening to on the chat here for the drivers. Not real happy right now on that last pit stop.
Yeah, Justin Krasinski is leading his first few laps of the race. Is that correct, Stephen?
Yeah, I'm showing him with 4 laps led after those pit stops. That was his first time taking the lead tonight. But for right now, they are lining them up. Nobody really taking the pit stop. It looks like Seth Foudy is down on pit road getting damage repaired. But I tell you what, those guys that were just on the cusp of getting lapped, this was when they needed it.
Yeah, do we have time to bring our sponsor up, Stephen?
Yeah, sure.
I want to remind everybody that this race tonight is brought to you by Jaws Graphics out of Watertown, Massachusetts. Custom paints, famous replicas, Jaws Graphics. They can make a graphic for you for anything you need. So, Judd, what do you think is going to happen here on the restart? Looks like we've got about 17, 15, 14 laps to go when we go back green.
Well, Justin's got left sides only. A couple other drivers only took left sides, but Justin's on the radio telling the boys just to be careful because he knows he's in trouble. He's been telling, rest in peace, field. So we'll see what he does. I think he's going to have to be riding his mirrors now. Yeah, a lot of the guys have admitted that they took some left sides. Little tippy-toeing going around these first couple laps, get these things situated with each other on these tire sides.
And it does look like we do have 17 drivers on that lead lap with 17 to go. And I can tell you what, once again, those drivers that were far back there, this is their shot they needed to get back up front and possibly get a win here tonight.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some good two-wide racing here. We might even see some guys taking some chances going 3 to make a position work.
Stephen, I have caught up with the 53 machine of Jeffrey Johnson. Earlier, he was out of the race early. Jeffrey, tell us what happened to you with that left front tire.
Coming out of turn 2, I blew a left front, and I couldn't control it and ended up smacking the wall. So I was trying to get a top 10 finish today to stay top 10 in points, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, we have not seen much tire wear out here tonight. It is unfortunate. Maybe your crew chief had a little bit too much camber in the left front. But we're happy you're okay, and hopefully you'll have better luck next week in Charlotte.
Oh yeah, I'll be shooting for it.
All right, thanks again, Jeffrey.
So pace car lights are out. Will be 15 laps to go, and green flag stops are done. Nobody will be going to the pits unless they are wrecked. And I tell you what, is this the point where you're saying checkers or wreckers?
Yeah, I think you're right. These boys are going to let it all hang out now.
Yeah, hopefully these guys will continue to race clean. We'll see side-by-side battles, 3-wide racing. But you never know here at Daytona. We had a couple of big ones in the truck race earlier, and this one's been pretty clean, relatively speaking. So we'll see what happens here, gentlemen. Looks like we do have a pack of 17 vehicles on the lead lap. First vehicle 1 lap down is Kyle Cameron, the 88. Tanner Talaricchio on the 42. Mike Franklin in the 82. They'll be battling to get the lucky dog if we do have the caution. Back to green.
And wow, the 6 of Tom Wetmore sucked up to the 28 of Calvin Allison pretty quick there. And we'll see if they can get a run, as we are showing Paul Madison in the lead right now.
Yes, Paul is having a great run. He's put that 15 Ford machine up front as we speak. The 18 of the STP machine is making a move on the outside, trying to get to the high line. That would be Michael Atkins Jr. He's trying to make a move here late in the race.
Paul Madison drops to that bottom line. A lot of movement on the backstretch as these guys are packed back up for the first time tonight. Oh, and we got Calvin Allison.
Oh!
This is the big one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, looks like we got car 6 and Calvin in 23, 28.
Yeah, looks like Calvin was not quite clear when he came down, and the 6 didn't give him any room with just a few laps to go in this race.
We're going to go on board with the 28 of Calvin Allison as that unfolds. Yeah, he got clipped on the back end, and then he goes for a ride, and there was nowhere to go for anybody else in the pack.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for the gentleman involved in that. But Paul Madison made it through clean.
Well, riding on board with Tom Whitmore through that just now, you can listen, you can hear him lift. He did give the opportunity for him to get in there. It just wasn't going to be.
Yeah, we'll go on board with Tom Wetmore to see just what you were talking about. Yeah, you can hear him let up a little bit. Yeah. And then he just kind of tries to hang on to it, but there's really nowhere to go as cars all around him. And it doesn't look like he honestly got a lot of front-end damage out of that. So Tom Wetmore may have gotten lucky out of that one, because honestly, I mean, if you look at his car, I'm not seeing much damage on that car.
He's got just a little bit of right front damage, but the fender's pulled out, so he looks like he's going to be enough to, he can get himself back into this. Took himself fresh, 4 fresh tires and some fuel. He's going to sit there and fix a little bit till the pace car comes around, and his crew chief will tell him to get out of there.
And then you have the man who led the most laps here so far tonight. That is Calvin Allison, who led 26 laps. He is sitting on pit road. And I tell you what, that car looks like a modified right now.
Yes, he definitely has a lot of damage. And some of these guys are getting damage repaired here on pit road. The 3 The 3 of Jason Cardwell has got rear end damage. He's back on the track.
Yeah, Kyle Cameron's talking on the radio right now. He's not real happy with his car. He thinks he's in trouble, but his front end is in pretty rough shape. So he's going to come into the pits and see how much damage he's going to have to sit there and repair before they let him back out. But his front end doesn't look too horrible. But we are talking Daytona here, and this is definitely going to slow him down.
Yeah, we are looking at him right now, and I mean, it doesn't look like there's all that much damage on the front end of that car. I mean, he's got to remind himself, right now in front of him on the pit road is the 28 of Calvin Allison. He could look like that car right now. He's got to remember that.
Yeah, he's definitely got more front end than Calvin does. So
you definitely need a front end. You need the front clip as clean as possible at Daytona and Talladega to keep your aerodynamics working so you can maintain speed. Of course, if you've got any kind of front end damage, it's going to hurt you here in the end of this race.
I'll tell you right now, guys, the 05 Justin Krasinski, he got himself through that situation with just those two left side tires, and he was able to come in and get himself some fresh tires and get back out in second place here, it looks like. So
yeah, so far we've had a very clean race, except for that one caution just came out. It's putting a couple guys in the catbird seat, Judd and Stephen. If you ask me, we've got a couple of guys up front right now who have not led much of this race. Paul Madison in the 15 Ford machine is leading. Justin Krasinski in the 05 machine is running second. The 14 of Luis Amaso, owner of Jaws Graphics, sponsor of this race, he's up to third. He's having a great run, a great bounce back. It'll be interesting to see how these guys manage these last. Looks like we're going to have about 8 laps to go. Hopefully they've got enough tire in them, enough fuel in the car. I think everybody's good on fuel, wouldn't you say, Judd?
yeah, they're done. This is we're going to the end on this one.
Now, Robert, we talk about from time to time guys looking for their first wins. Anybody in the front of this pack looking for their first win?
It looks to me like Justin, who is a newcomer to our series in the 05 machine, he's going to give that Toyota a run. It wouldn't shock me at all if he pulls this off. Of course, Paul Madison, he could be getting his first win. Luis Almaso's got a lot of plate track experience. He's won a lot of races in other series other than this one. And, of course, the 20 of Colin Bowden. He's already got a win, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if he pulls off another win. And the sleeper for the end of this race, gentlemen, I'm picking the 51 of Ryan Matthews. He is a youngster with a lot of talent in this series. He's come aboard. He's learned a lot. He's patient, and he might just sneak out a win. That's who I'm calling for to pull this off, especially if somebody in front of him get together, come into the checkers, and he's able to get by him for the win. That would just be a Cinderella story.
Well, the pace car did go down. Green flag is out. And did Paul Madison take that high side? Because he got a pretty good run on that restart.
Yes, and the 15 moves down right in front of the 05 of Justin Krasinski. The 20 of Colin Bowden's on the outside with the 76. Cleverson Piera giving him a push. But right now, it's all the 15 of Paul Madison and the 05 of Justin Krasinski. Judd House, the 17 of Philip Myers running. Looks like I got him back 1 lap down. He is the second car a lap down, running in 18th. He's looking for a caution, as well as, actually, Phillip is the first car 1 lap down. Ryan Hill is the second car 1 lap down. And they're single file here up at the front. First side-by-side battle, we have the 6 of Tom Wetmore beside the 76 of Cleverson Piera. Looks like he's lost about a half a dozen positions on that high line. Then we've got the 22 Pennzoil machine of Seth Foudy. He's on the high line with 34. We haven't talked much about him. George Hendricks on the outside. If those three can get together, they may be able to make a move to the front, but right now it's looking like it's all the 15 of Paul Madison.
Yeah, Paul Madison now 9 laps led, and he is leading the pack as they go to 8 to go. And I tell you what, this is starting to heat up. We're going to see some guys jump to the outside before too long and try to get that run. I was talking to some guys looking there as they came off of turn number 2 onto the backstretch.
Yeah, as you know, Stephen Judd, here at Daytona, if you get a run with somebody and you both make a move to the outside and you can time it perfectly, you get that momentum from that run and you're able to at least get around 2 or 3 cars in front of you. And if you're able to do that with some help behind you, you can have the momentum to get all the way to the front. And that's probably what we're going to see here in the next 2 or 3 laps. Looks like guys are peeking out either to keep their car cool or they're wondering who's going to go with them. Right now, you might not be racing with the guy you started with in this race. You might not be with your teammate. I'm not so sure the 05 and the 14 are teammates. Ryan Matthews, I don't think his teammates. Actually, the 51, Ryan Matthews is teammates with the 20 of Colin Ballon. They might hook up here in a minute, try to get a run to get around the 14 and the 05 and make their way to the front. But it's getting down to the end of the race, Stephen, where you got to go with a dancing partner you can find. If they can help you get this win, whether they're a teammate or an enemy here in the Dominos TYJ Racing Series, you're going to use them to hopefully get yourself to the front, if not a top 2 finish.
Yeah, you know, Steve and Robert, this front 4-pack here, you can watch. It's going to be interesting. There are a couple laps here. These guys are going to make their bed, and they're going to have to lay in it. When they get done with what they're doing here, they're going to get a run. I don't know that I'm going to want to be that Mr. Paul Madison right now.
Yeah, on one hand, you want to be the leader because you control what's going on. And I can guarantee you right now, Stephen and Judd, Paul Madison in that 15 Ford machine, he is looking out the rear view mirror more than he's looking out his windshield.
Oh, we're going to have a caution.
No caution?
Wow, saved
We
it.
are good to go. We are good to go, boys.
Wow, that's some great driving there. Like I was saying, Paul Madison is looking at the rear view more than anything. He's looking to see if the 05 of Justin Krasinski is making a move to the high line. He's going to try to block it. If he's making a move on the low line, he's going to try to block that. You're driving out the rear view mirror more than the front, and your goal is to keep the guys behind you. And right now, he's got a great chance because we don't have anybody side by side right behind him, but we still have quite a few laps. Actually, we're only down to 3 or 4 laps to go. I did just turn over the communications. The 04 of Brian Cutt's motor just blew, but that should not affect the outcome of the race. It looks like the 03 of Jason Cardwell is trying to make a move. He's losing the draft along with George Hendricks. Actually, that's Tanner Tallaricchio pushing George Hendricks. They're trying to make their way back.
Here we go.
Front.
Here comes Luis on the back. He's going to pull it on the outside. Looks like he thought better about that one.
Yeah, I think it's a little too early for trying to make a move. You want to make it about on the backstretch with 2 to go.
Yeah, but he lost his momentum. As you can see, he's about 3 car lengths back from the 05 of Justin Krasinski. That might be a plan to pick up the 51 to get the momentum, which they've got right now. Looks like they're going to be able to make a run on the outside of the 05 if anybody can follow them. The 05's looking high. And it looks like the 14 does have the 20 of Colin Bow and the 55 of Ryan Hill, who I think is a lap down, but he's going to help the 20 and the 14 try to make a run to the leaders.
Do we see the 05 try to dip in front of the 14 before he can get the run? And it doesn't look like he will.
It's too late now unless he gets is able to push the 15 and get ahead.
Well, here we go. Once again, 2 laps to go. We got a pack of 6 up front. Can the 14 of Luis Salmaso get to the lead before this thing's over?
Looks like he's getting another good push from the 20 of Colin Bowden. And the 55 of Ryan Hill, who is 1 lap down, is trying to push to get him to the front. Now they're ducking back to the low side. They're going to make another strategy play, but time is running out here at Daytona.
Yeah, white flag is going out, and with the 51 down on the apron, came back up. 20 had to almost check up, almost made contact with the 14. White flag is out. Anything goes from here on out. And it's looking like Paul Madison is going to be the man right now, but the 20 is going to try to make a charge. He's got the 14 and the 55 behind him.
And the 15 just made a miraculous move in front of the 14. And looks like the 15's going high, the 05's going low. The 20 and the 55 on the high line. They've got a run coming here off the corner.
Oh, man, this is going to be close. Can the 20 get the run on the outside line, going to the front stretch? Oh, we're wrecking.
And I think to the checkered flag.
Justin Krasinski.
Oh, Carlson, that's a photo finish. Who won that one? What did I say? The 51.
Ryan Matthews.
Ryan Matthews takes the win.
Ryan Matthews gets his first win in the Dominos TYJ Top Shelf Series.
I tell you what,
Ryan.
We have got to look at that one more time, because that was a crazy finish at the start-finish line. We're going to have to go slow-mo on this one. Get a shot of who made that pass for the win. And the 51 all the way from 5th up into 1st for the win. What a race out there tonight. So do we have our race winner, Ryan Matthew, in TeamSpeak?
I'm going to grab him right now in just a minute. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Ryan Matthews, you got a copy on us. Outside. Ryan Matthews, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Ryan Matthews, driver of the number 51. How in the world did you pull off this victory, young man?
I don't know. I just coming off of 4, I knew they were gonna wreck because they were bands and all that, and I just knew they were gonna wreck, and I just let off, and 1st and 2nd got into the wall, and then 55 and 3rd place made contact, and I just YOLO'd it and made it to the line 1st.
Wow, Ryan. I'm telling you what, you've come into this series as a young man, learning a lot, staying clean, being patient. About 10 laps ago, we were talking before the restart, and I picked you from 5th place as the dark horse to get his first win. Steven asked me, who was I going to pick to get their first win out of this last group of guys? And I said, I'm going to go with the 51 machine because I know what kind of driver he is. He knows how to be patient. Ryan, tell us here in the broadcast booth and all the fans listening around the country and the world. We've got fans from Canada. We've got fans from other countries. What does this win mean for you tonight?
It means a lot. 15th right now in the points, I think, and I really needed this win to gain some positions and not lose the top 15 in the series. It really means a lot.
That is really awesome, Ryan. I want to ask you one last thing. Who can you thank? Who can you give a shout out to? Teammates or sponsors? Who would you like to thank for this victory?
Got to thank my dad. Yeah, that's basically it.
Wow, that is awesome. I tell you what, having a father that supports you, I know you do a lot of racing otherwise that you're just getting involved in, and it's great to have you in our series. Again, congratulations, Ryan. You go celebrate. I'm not sure you're old enough to be drinking any champagne or beer in Victory Lane, but you can drink all the other kind of beverage you want, and we will definitely see you next week at Charlotte. And you have made your statement that you might not win this championship, but you're definitely going to be one to contend with for another win at Charlotte. Congratulations, Ryan, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Wow, Judd, what do you think about that finish?
I don't know. I'm speechless right now. I just went through all that replay looking at these guys. Whew. That was crazy. What a finish. Awesome. Great job, guys. It never feels great when it's a wreck like that at the end. But, hey, this was a fun race to watch.
Hey, Stephen, we've got Tom Wetmore, the driver of the number 6 machine here in the broadcast booth. If you want to interview him.
Yeah, Tom Wetmore, you got a copy?
Big 10-4.
What a finish out there tonight. And I tell you what, both races tonight, crazy finishes. How did you manage to pull through and get a second place finish tonight?
The seas parted in that hurricane and got lucky enough to pull home second place tonight. Not sure what happened at the front there with the lapped car being up in the lead pack, but happy to bring the Polaris Camry home second.
Well, next week you guys do head to the finale at Charlotte, and I tell you what, a second place finish at Daytona, you got to be happy about that in the points. So what's your plans going into Charlotte?
Fortunate enough that Robert puts up a testing session on most Sundays that we're able to take advantage of and a prep ahead for the week ahead, so hopefully we'll take advantage of that moving into Charlotte.
All right, well, you start 14th tonight. You move all the way up to second. You do also lead 19 laps. We saw you up front leading those laps. Anybody you'd like to give a shout-out to tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout-out to that 98 car, David Washington. Those 19 laps are led because he pushed me around in that Chef Andy's 40 drive, so if it wasn't for him staying with me there, could have got shuffled back. And also a huge thanks to the field for being patient for 60 laps. That kind of racing green flag is really awesome to be a part of. A lot of fun.
All right, well, congrats once again on your second place finish. We hope to see you next week out at Charlotte.
All right, in the broadcast booth, Judd, we have got Luis Almaso. Why don't you ask him how his race went?
Hey, sponsor the race. What a job. Luis, talk to us. How did it feel like out there tonight?
Man, talk about a crazy race. That was awesome. That was one hell of a race.
We were watching you on the outside, making your moves, letting the guys know, hey, if you want to go, we can go. I'm ready, and we just kept waiting for you to make your moves. So I'm really glad you got the opportunity here. Anybody out there you want to thank? We really appreciate your graphics company, and we'd just like to hear from you and who you want to make sure you get the shout out to.
I want to give a big shout out to all my teammates that I race with week in and week out. Guys from Spartan Racing, guys from Wild Child, and Young Guns. The guys that are watching the broadcast every week, they ask me, hey, how did those races going? Those guys are fast. How the whole thing? So I think they might be working their way over here in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. So big shout out to those guys. Big shout out to Max PTV for broadcasting the race. Those guys do an awesome job. I cannot wait to go back and watch this one. Thank all the admins, all the work put behind the curtain. You guys have no idea watching the race how much these guys put in the work. So it's pretty easy for us just to show up and race. So, and all the guys that were on the track, well, that was one hell of a crazy finish. And congratulations to Ryan. Right place, right time, and he was able to avoid the wreck. So congratulations to him.
Well, awesome job tonight, Lewis. That was great. I will look forward to seeing you at Charlotte. Get some rest, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll be here. Thanks, guys.
Steve, Robert, what do you think? Is that a wrap? This was an awesome race tonight.
Yeah, what a race put on by these guys. I'm like Lewis was saying, we went 60 laps before that first caution, and then we did have one that was a self-spin. Nobody else involved in that one. We did have the famous big one that we always see at these super speedways, but what a show put on by Dominos TYJ Racing tonight.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's one of the most incredible finishes I've seen in all of iRacing. I'm sure there have been a lot better than that, but that's one of the best ones I've seen. I'm just thankful to be a part of what we're doing here. I'm thankful to Max Speed TV3 for coming on board for these last 4 races, these last 4 double headers. I'm looking forward to next week at Charlotte for the championship race. We're going to have the race for the thin crust guys, then Dash4Cash. We're going to have the championship race in Charlotte for the top shelf. It's going to be another double header, fans. And these drivers are going to split up, like I mentioned before, a total prize purse of over $300. Who's going to be the one in victory lane for thin crust next Thursday night, and who's going to be the one in victory lane, and also who's going to win the championship? A lot of things can happen between now and then. These guys are going to get a lot of practice in, and there's money on the table here. And appreciate you being in the booth tonight, Judd. You did a great job, and thanks again, Steve.
Yeah, as always, it's nice to be here, and it's great seeing races like this. I tell guys all the time, it's races like this where it comes down to the last corner, the last straightaway, that are the best to broadcast out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Great night of racing. Couldn't have asked for more.
All right. Well, with that, Robert, would you like to run down the results for tonight?
Yes, sir, I sure will. Of course, you heard that very emotional interview in victory lane there by the 51 Ryan Matthews. He gets his first win in the Dominos TYJ Top Shelf Series. He brings it home first. We also have Tom Wetmore in the 6th, knocking on the door again. He's going to get his first win here soon. He finished second. The 14 of Luis Tomaso has another great finish in third. The 76 of Cleverson Peoria, he comes home fourth. That's a great run for him. The 42 of Tana Talaricchio comes in fifth. Justin Krasinski in 5 was leading a lot of laps there at the end of the race. Had a great shot to win it. Got caught up. Things happened. He comes home 6th, but that's a great run for him. Colin Bowden in the 20 comes home 7th. Paul Madison in the 15 was running up front there near the end. He comes home 8th. Those guys were involved in that last wreck. 87 of Raymond Reitnauer comes home 9th. The 3 of Jason Cardwell comes home 10th. He had a good run. The 34 George Hendricks was running in the back pretty much all race. He comes home 11th. That's great. A good points night. 18 of Michael Atkins comes home 12th. And 13th we have the Bud Machine of Buzz Moore in 11. In the 11 machine, he comes home 13th. James Ross in the number 7 Texaco machine comes home 14th. All those drivers were on the lead lap. Then we have 15th, 1 lap down was Ryan Hill in the 55. Brian Cooks 1 lap down in 16th. We also have behind them Mike Franklin, Kyle Kammer, Jordan Beck had that self-spin. Also Seth Fowdy, Philip Meyer was running good up front earlier, had some issues late. Dave Washington was running good earlier, had issues late. Calvin Allison was led a lot of the laps in this race. Probably leading the most laps bonus there. He comes home 23rd. Jeffrey Johnson Jr. had that left front tire blow up on him. Again, it must have been too much camber in that vehicle. He comes home back in 24th. That is a rundown.
So all right. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, next week, like I said, we go to Charlotte. We're going to have more action on the track. We're going to have side-by-side racing. Charlotte's a much more narrow track. It's going to be under the lights. Fans, you do not want to miss next week. Stephen, what else can you add here as we close it up?
1 second here. We're having a little bit of a camera issue for some reason. There we go. All right. Well, once again, it was a pretty great race. Both races we had tonight were pretty insane, but definitely looking into next week at Charlotte. Both championships are going to be decided next week, and you got to be excited about crowning a champion in any league. And this top shelf league, these guys have battled all season to try to get that championship. So Next week should be great, and we can't wait to be back here once again. But until next time, thank you everybody for stopping by and checking out the Dominos TYJ Thin Crust and Top Shelf races tonight. We hope to see you next week, and until then, have a great night.
Good night.